Alex Carter had always felt like a shadow in his small town, a speck in a vast, monotonous landscape where nothing ever changed. In a community where everyone knew each other's names and gossip spread faster than wildfire, Alex preferred to stay on the fringes. He wore black clothes, dyed his hair vivid colors, and expressed himself through his music. He was often called the outsider, a label he embraced by choice. His mother owned the only salon in town, a bright little spot called Sarah's Style Studio, while his father, a retired Navy veteran, struggled after the closure of his internet cafe, running a tax preparation service on the side. Despite their efforts, their lives in this sleepy town were comfortable enough, but Alex sought escape. He worked at Billy's Burgers, where he juggled his passion for music, forming a band named Midnight Hollow with his friends. Everything changed when Miss Elena Santos arrived to teach English at the local high school in 2019. She was 24, fresh from grad school, with dark, curly hair and warm brown eyes that sparkled with enthusiasm. Suddenly, Alex, the alternative outsider, found himself drawn to her unwavering positivity and genuine interest in her students. One day, in the dim light of the classroom, Elena recognized something in him. "You have a unique perspective, Alex," she said softly, her accent adding a musical quality to her words. "You should consider pursuing English as a major." His classmates laughed, but for the first time, he felt seen, his potential reflected back at him through her warm gaze. That day marked the start of a series of stolen moments, quick smiles in the hallway, brief chats about their shared passion for literature, and even co-conspiratorial laughter at the quirks of small-town life. Then, a chance encounter at Billy's Burgers shifted everything. When Elena entered one slow Tuesday evening, engrossed in her phone, the air buzzed with unspoken excitement. "Alex," she smiled, catching his eye as he served her a Mediterranean salad. "You have such a wonderful smile. You should show it more often, you know." Flustered, Alex felt like a moth drawn to her flame. The dynamic shifted. Their conversations gradually transformed into personal revelations. In the shadows of the restaurant, they both realized they were lonely souls, linked by music and literature and hungry for connection. As weeks passed, their meetings turned into innocent hangouts, movies at the local theater, dinners at Antonio's, and laughter that felt like a whirlwind. Each moment stretched into the next, the tension between them crackling with possibility. One fateful evening, as they walked back from the theater, Alex dared to reach for her hand, his heart pounding in his chest. To his surprise, she took his hand, intertwining their fingers. A week later, a kiss sealed their new reality. "Alex," Elena murmured after their first kiss, "we need to be careful." Life spun on, a delicate balance of stolen moments and secret glances, all cloaked in the blissful anonymity of their small-town life. Elena would come to see Midnight Hollow perform at the skating rink, applauding the rough edges of their sound. To Alex, she was everything, his muse, his confidant, and even a link to a brighter future. But like all beautiful things, the bliss wavered. On a seemingly ordinary Tuesday, Elena received a nearly unfathomable text. The school board wanted to discuss their relationship, in the format of a meeting. Alex's stomach dropped. "They're saying we had a relationship while you were my teacher," she whispered, panic layering her voice. The situation escalated when Alex rushed to the school district office the next day, aware that nobody had anticipated the atmosphere of a witch hunt brewing against them. Elena stood before a panel of stony faces, looking fragile and strong all at once. "Miss Santos, we need the truth," the board president declared, his words heavy with accusation. "Are you involved with Alex Carter?" It didn't matter that they were both adults. Labeled as inappropriate, Elena became a target, and in the aftermath of it all, the reality struck hard. She was on the brink of being fired while Alex was still trying to breathe through the chaos. Fights broke out between reports and rumors, whispered undercurrents of judgment lurking in every corner of the school. Alex was furious, rebellious energy flooding through him at the injustice of it all. "This isn't fair," he shouted, interrupting the meeting. "Nothing happened until I graduated." The board reluctantly allowed Elena to keep her job, but rumors hung in the air like fog, persisting until they clawed their way through the town, taking root in the consciousness of nearly everyone. But this was only the beginning. The fallout shed its shards of devastation between them. Elena was eventually forced to resign. "They are letting me resign instead of firing me," Elena recounted later, tears glimmering in her warm brown eyes. This was my dream. With impending doom shadowing their every move, Elena and Alex faced harsh decisions. His parents offered to support her while they contemplated leaving town altogether. Then one fateful night, Elena broke the news that would change everything. She was pregnant. "Surprise," she whispered. Underneath the chaos of their lives, amid the suffocating expectations of small-town judgment, Alex found this new reality bewildering and terrifying. Their lives had flipped upside down, but they decided to lean on one another. They packed their belongings and aimed for the sprawling world of Los Angeles, a sanctuary of anonymity. Yet in the City of Angels, the battle was far from over. As Elena struggled to find a teaching job, she discovered the stains of their past weren't easy to shake. The scars from whispers echoed in every rejection, her teaching license stained with a note implying inappropriate relations with a student. "Elena, it's a mistake. We can fight this," Alex insisted, but no matter how hard they pushed back, the battles hung heavy. Living in a small apartment with mounting bills while awaiting the arrival of their child consumed their days. But beneath the chaos, the necessity to thrive wailed within him. Then, the weight of memories came crashing back, the injustices uncoiling in his mind. Like Derek, his old friend turned adversary. It was Derek who had whispered lies to his mother, Derek whose jealousy sparked the fire that obliterated Elena's career. Alex had to act. Slowly, meticulously, he began crafting a plan, determined to right the wrongs. In the shadows, revenge was brewing. In the shadows of their small apartment, Alex's resolve hardened. He couldn't watch Elena suffer anymore, working tirelessly to mend the pieces of her dreams while the whispers of small-town judgment haunted them. The injustices they faced felt insurmountable, but he knew he had to do something drastic. Days passed, each one more suffocating than the last, consumed by rejections and uncertainty. Every time Elena opened her email to see yet another "we regret to inform you" message, it drove a dagger deeper into Alex's heart. They had moved to Los Angeles searching for a new beginning, yet they felt shackled by the past. The truth was simple. Derek was the source of their torment. His jealousy and gossip had poisoned the well in their hometown, and the residue of his spiteful words lingered everywhere they turned. "This isn't just about you and me anymore," Alex whispered to Elena one dark evening, the weight of his words pressing against them. "This is about fighting for what's ours." Sitting across from each other at their rickety kitchen table, Elena's brows furrowed. "But what can we do? He's just a guy in town. We can't control what he says or what others think." "No," Alex replied fiercely, "but we can expose the truth." A fiery determination sparked within him. "It's time we turn the tables." Over the next few days, Alex threw himself into a meticulous plan, researching everything he could about Derek's life, his past, and the swirling rumors he had left behind in their hometown. The connection that once bound them as friends had morphed into an ember of betrayal that Alex was determined to extinguish. He unearthed old videos, pictures, and posts hidden in the recesses of social media. It was a frenzied hunt for evidence. "Derek lives a double life," Alex eventually told Elena, excitement mingling with the uncertainty in his voice. "You won't believe the things he's been up to. Drugs, dealing, and there's even a video of him bragging about it." She looked hesitant, the flicker of doubt brave against her face. "Are you sure this is right? Isn't it revenge?" "It's justice, Elena," Alex argued, grabbing her hands. "We've done nothing wrong. He's the one who manipulated the truth. We can't just stand by and let our lives be shattered like this." With Elena's hesitant but willing support, they decided to act. Alex created a new email account to ensure anonymity. It felt like a plunge into a dark abyss, but he was ready to dive. The first tip he sent to the local news outlet was about the videos Derek's indiscretions caught on tape. While his initial thoughts buzzed with anxiety, he knew this was necessary. As days passed, the web they were weaving began to ensnare Derek. Each email sent was a snip of thread tightening around him, each piece of evidence adding weight to the unraveling story. The community began buzzing with whispers of Derek's past. The very rumors he had once used to tarnish their names were now festering around him like dark clouds ready to burst. The pivotal moment arrived when Alex learned Derek was managing Billy's Burgers again. It was a stroke of fate. Alex seized the opportunity, crafting a second email that mentioned the alleged drug use at the restaurant and Derek's questionable judgment. The surface of Derek's reality was starting to crack, and Alex felt a rush of exhilaration. On a particularly hot afternoon, a wave of tension spread through the local diner as Alex's tips churned the pot of drama. Rumors of Derek's past began to seep into the diner like the smell of sizzling burgers, intoxicating the patrons. The more Alex dug, the more furious Derek became, desperate to retain his grip on influence and reputation. But that wasn't all. As Alex sifted through Derek's online life, he uncovered an exposé, references to past complaints made against Derek's mother, who had been instrumental in reporting Elena. It seemed their downfall was connected to an ongoing vendetta about perceived slights in the community. Elena's past two danced in tandem. It intertwined with Derek's mother, the venomous gossip poised to reignite old fires. One evening, after yet another fruitless job search left Elena frustrated and despondent, Alex revealed everything. "I found more about Derek's mom. She was part of the petition against you, but what matters now is she's been hiding something." "What do you mean?" Elena asked, her eyes widening. "Your past employer, remember? The school? They have records of complaints she made long before you came to town. It could prove that she's been manipulating the board, stacking the odds against you. This could help clear your record." Elena gasped, realization dawning on her as adrenaline coursed through her veins. They could finally fight back, not against mere gossip, but against the shadow of a desperate revenge that had plagued them long enough. Determined, Alex planned how to approach the local news and expose it all. They would make their stand. Their narrative would weave together the threads of injustice that intertwined in their community: Derek's drug past, his mother's deceit, and Elena's undeserved suffering. As they pieced everything together, the looming weight of uncertainty began to lift. But deep down, Alex felt the anxiety of what came next. A confrontation awaited. Their little scheme expanded, tightening around the very individuals who had betrayed them, pushing forward into the spotlight. "Are you ready for what's to come?" Elena asked cautiously. "I think we're getting closer to the truth," he responded, his heart thundering in anticipation. "And I refuse to let fear silence us any longer." Together, they would cast the light on the darkness that had tried to consume them. The weight of their plan hung in the air like the calm before a storm. Alex and Elena knew they were on the cusp of something monumental, something that had the potential to reshape their lives, not just theirs, but the very fabric of the small town that had once trapped them. The spark of hope ignited a newfound resolve inside them, breathing life into the idea that perhaps they could reclaim their narrative. Over the next few days, Alex worked tirelessly, gathering all the evidence they'd amassed against Derek and his mother. He dug deeper into their lives: Derek's social media posts, his mother's encounters at school board meetings, and every questionable action that tied them to the unjust energies surrounding Elena. Each new piece fed Alex's determination, urging him onward despite the fear of the impending confrontation. "Are you sure we should do this?" Elena asked one evening, worry etching her features. They sat at their kitchen table, papers strewn across every inch, evidence of Derek's indiscretions and his mother's manipulations piled high. "What if it backfires?" Alex leaned forward, clutching her hands in his. "This is our story now," he insisted, eyes alight with fervor. "We owe it to ourselves to seek justice. Plus, the town deserves to know the truth. We're not the only ones who have been affected by their lies." With every passing hour, the stakes became increasingly palpable. The town was just beginning to catch wind of the rumors surrounding Derek. Whispers accompanied him whenever he walked into Billy's Burgers, an awful tension simmering beneath the surface. The decision was made. Alex set a date to meet with a local news outlet, where he would lay everything bare. A journalist named MIA had already shown interest, intrigued by the hints of scandal and betrayal. "I'll spotlight this," she promised over the phone, her excitement cracking through the otherwise monotonous lull of their days. "I want to dive into the specifics, get the real stories rolling. I can't wait to see what you have." As the day approached, the anxiety turned to adrenaline. The very air within their apartment buzzed with anticipation. What felt like both an eternity and a fleeting moment wound together, and then it was finally the night before the meeting. Alex and Elena curled up on the couch, the TV flickering into silence as they absorbed the intensity of the moment. Do you think they'll go public with our story? Elena murmured, her voice laced with doubts as they snuggled under a blanket. They will, Alex assured her, his heart racing. The truth always comes to light. Morning broke all too soon, a blanket of nerves wrapping around them tighter than expected. Dressed in their best, Alex in a simple black shirt that reminded him of his music days, and Elena in a bright, vibrant outfit that mirrored the hope they shared. They clutched each other's hands as their thoughts swirled in anticipation of what was to come. At the news station, MIA greeted them with a warm smile, but the atmosphere still felt charged with uncertainty. Let's get to the bottom of this, she encouraged as they settled into the chairs under the bright studio lights, cameras poised to capture their every word. Start from the beginning, MIA prompted, her notepad ready. Alex took a deep breath, feeling Elena's encouraging touch beside him. We arrived in Los Angeles trying to escape a small-town reputation, he explained. We thought it would be our fresh start. But, Elena interjected, gathering strength, we were pulled right back into the judgments and rumors that followed us from home. It started with Derek and his manipulative lies, which seem innocent but are actually anything but. Mia's pen sketched quickly across the page as they laid down the tapestry of betrayal. How Derek's jealousy burgeoned, transforming once friends into foes, and how his mother was not as innocent as it appeared. They showed her the evidence, the videos and the documented past of both, and the fire of truth burned brighter with every spoken word. The more they unveiled, the more the pieces clicked together. Even Elena recounted the agony of unsubstantiated accusations at the school board, the whispers echoing through the hallways. I never got a chance to show my true potential, she said, her voice softening but steady. And it's wrong. As MIA nodded, furiously taking notes, Alex felt a piece of his heart lift with every shared detail, their pain no longer confined to the shadows but out in the open for the world to witness. Truth had a way of empowering, making them feel less like victims and more like warriors. Later that evening, they returned home, an odd mixture of relief and trepidation swirling between them. Having shared their story felt liberating, yet they understood the ramifications. Would Derek retaliate? Would his mother come after them? Their phones buzzed when they least expected it. Alex glanced down to see a text from MIA saying that there was already interest in covering the story, but it would potentially publish soon. A brief wave of exhilaration swept through him before the doubt returned, a familiar visitor. What if they twist our words? Alex murmured. We can't control what others say, Alex. But we control our narrative now, Elena reassured him, placing her hand on his cheek. We're stronger together. Yet, the next morning brought a different reality. The article went live, exposing the truths about Derek and his mother's hypocrisy alongside the injustices against Elena. Small-town gossip turned into public discussion, reverberating through the community like an earthquake shattering the old facade and making waves that cascaded far beyond their expectations. But as they read the comments that flooded in, they discovered something dire. Derek's retaliation was swift. He was livid, visibly infuriated, his emotions spilling forth in a social media post that was both an attack and a desperate plea for sympathy. Don't believe the lies. These two are fabricating stories to tarnish my name. I have nothing to hide. It's all just smoke and mirrors. Alex clutched his phone. He's framing this as an attack on him, he said, eyes widening. He thinks he can twist this to make us look like the bad guys. He's desperate, Elena replied, her jaw set defiantly. But this is our chance. We have to go public again, this time with what we have on him. As they forged ahead, unearthing even more evidence against Derek, old social media posts, witness accounts, the power dynamic began to shift. Their little rebellion of truth became a groundswell. People from their hometown, potent voices who had endured Derek's venomous grip, began to come forward, sharing their own stories of manipulation and threats. Suddenly, it was no longer just Alex and Elena against Derek. It was an entire community pushing back. Yet even as the tide turned, the intensity escalated. Derek, cornered and enraged, would stop at nothing to protect his name and status. What started as a pursuit for justice risked morphing into a confrontation filled with consequences neither Alex nor Elena could foresee. We have to be ready for what comes next, Alex said, drawing closer to Elena as he felt the tremor of their battle on the horizon. I'm ready, she replied fiercely, determination shining in her eyes, igniting his spirit further. "And we'll do this together." As they steeled themselves for the fight ahead, the dawning realization struck them. Sometimes, the darkness that threatens to swallow you can also be the very thing that leads you to find your light, and they were finally uncovering the strength they had within. Their journey for justice was only beginning. The fire in their determination blazed brighter than ever as Alex and Elena prepared to face the storm that Derek's retaliation would inevitably bring. They sat in the quiet of their apartment, surrounded by the remnants of their storied past and the weight of thrilling uncertainty. The entire community buzzed with chatter, and it felt as if the walls themselves were closing in, urging them to action. "I never thought it would come to this," Elena admitted, her voice barely above a whisper as she glanced out the window, where the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows against the pavement. "That we'd need to rally the town against him." "Yes, but it's about more than just us now," Alex replied, his tone firmer than he felt. "It's about everyone he's hurt. It's a tale that's been suppressed for too long, and the truth is finally waking up." With their newfound purpose propelling them forward, they decided to organize a town hall meeting, a place for voices to be heard, stories to be shared, and their community to come together against the darkness that Derek represented. Tracing flyers and postings around town, they sent invitations to familiar faces, anyone who had felt the suffocating breath of Derek's relentless grip. As the day of the meeting approached, anticipation hummed in the air. Alex and Elena traded worries every night, wrestling with the fear of what Derek might try next. What if he shows up? What if he creates chaos? Elena fretted one evening, biting her lip as she paced. "We'll be ready," Alex assured her, grabbing her hand to stop her from pacing. "We can't let fear win. We'll invite MIA to cover it. She should be there to document everything that happens." The night of the town hall meeting arrived. A palpable electricity charged the space as townsfolk gathered, filling the modest community center. Faces both familiar and new shuffled in, an assortment of emotions painted over their features: anger, hurt, anticipation, and hope. Alex and Elena stood at the front, glancing at one another, drawing strength from the determined glimmer in each other's eyes. MIA arrived, her camera gear in tow, ready to document the unfolding story. With her trusted presence beside them, a wave of reassurance washed over Alex. He knew the power of truth would find a way to shine through. "Thank you all for coming," Alex began, his voice steady yet laced with emotion. "We all know the power of silence, how it breeds fear and allows untruths to flourish. But we're done suppressing our stories, our pain. Tonight, we take back our narrative." Applause echoed in the room as he gestured to Elena, who stepped forward, her presence radiating confidence. "I'm here to tell my story and to shine a light on the injustices that Derek has caused, not just to me but to many of you as well. We need to talk about the truth, the things Derek has done behind closed doors, the darkness that surrounded our community for so long." One by one, people shared their own experiences, their voices weaving a tapestry of resilience and camaraderie. As testimonies surfaced, the room buzzed with energy. Derek's grip on their lives began to dissolve as more individuals stood up, echoing their struggles against his manipulation. Stories of bullying, threats, and intimidation unfolded like cans no longer constrained beneath a lid, spilling forth the truth. Elena recounted her experiences at the school board, how Derek's mother had played a crucial role in undermining her. "These are the chains we've allowed to bind us, but it's time we let go," she urged, her passion igniting the crowd. The collective feeling of liberation blossomed in the air. But as the fabric of solidarity wove tighter, tension lurked in the background. What no one anticipated was Derek's imminent arrival. As the night wore on, a sudden uproar erupted outside the community center. A cacophony of shouting and raised voices ruptured the atmosphere. "Let me through. I'll crush this. You all don't know the truth," a familiar voice boomed. The crowd froze, eyes darting toward the door. As Derek barged in, unfiltered rage etched across his face. The enthusiastic pulse of the meeting shifted into apprehensive dread. Alex's heart raced. "Stay back," he cautioned, sensing the dangerous storm that loomed. Everyone remain calm. Derek shouted accusations, swinging wild arms in fury. "You think you're heroes? Telling lies about me? I'll ruin you. You're nothing without my name, without my shadow. Fear pulsed through the group, but the warmth of shared experiences ignited a collective strength. Derek. Alex shouted, advancing. This is not your moment. You've hurt enough people. We are taking our story back. The intensity reached a tipping point as murmurs filled the room. We won't back down, came a voice from the crowd, an echo of resilience that reverberated through the hall. The eyes of the community turned toward Derek with newfound courage, dissolving the facade of control he had spun for so long. MIA snapped photos, capturing the punctuated defiance in the air. Unfazed by Derek's threats, the townspeople stood firm, their unity a force of nature. But with no one backing down, the confrontation escalated. This isn't over. Derek spat, his eyes narrowing with desperation, sensing his reins slipping away. Alex stepped closer, his heart racing. Maybe not. But we take a stand right here, right now. You can't hide behind lies any longer. Derek's manic expression faltered as he processed the growing wall of resolve facing him. Perhaps he realized that dark whispers wouldn't hold the same power in the light of truth. The tide had turned. Finally, Derek turned, pushing through the crowd and bolting out the door, fearing the inevitable shift that had befallen him. The echo of his presence faded into the night, leaving vibrant energy pulsing within the community instead. As the noise settled, applause erupted, breaking out like fireworks in the air. The room shook with resolve, with healing spirits ignited by the will to overcome. Alex and Elena stood together, their hearts pounding in unison, united more than ever. We did it, Elena breathed, amazement shining in her eyes. But it's not done, he reminded her, pride swelling in his heart. This is just the beginning. Then let's keep fighting, she replied, bursting with renewed vigor. For us and for everyone else who's been oppressed. And as they gazed at the faces around them, faces illuminated with hope and strength, they knew that they were part of a larger story now, one that sparked from the ashes of pain and grew into the fierce flame of truth and justice. Together, they would reclaim their lives and pave the way for a brighter tomorrow.